Hello, and welcome to the Embrace Balance, Discover Joy podcast. I'm Amanda Butland, your host and intuitive life coach. All right, welcome to another episode of the Embrace Balance, Discover Joy podcast. Today, my special guest is Ayla Lorch. Hi, Ayla. Thanks for joining me today.
Awesome. Hello. Thanks for having me.
So, I always like to start out with a little icebreaker question. Can you share with us what hobby or activity brings you the most joy and why?
Oh gosh. I would say this might sound silly, but in a way, cleaning. When I can put on just some earbuds and some music and just be in my own space and do like the cleaning that you don't normally do, the organizing, the detailing. It really just feels amazing and accomplishing, and it's fun and releasing.
I love that. That's very different than what a lot of people usually say. So it's it's great. But you know what I'll say about cleaning and what you mentioned is not like really like dirt cleaning, but like organizing and freeing up your space because, freeing up your space is so important for sort of like your well-being because, when your space is cluttered, your energy feels cluttered. So sort of like freeing up that clutter, allows your energy to flow and the energy in your home to flow. So I love that. That's awesome.
Yes, it feels so good.
All right. So I do want to start off with sort of, a little bit about yourself. Would you be willing to share sort of a little bit about yourself and maybe how you've gotten to where you are today through coaching?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so gosh, my first experiencing with coaching was with a relationship coach where I was learning relationship skills. I was a new mom or new again mom. I have a daughter who's in her 20s now and some boys who are 6 and 7. But gosh, when they were babies, it was hard. Life was just busy. It was first year of marriage, and marriage was not everything that I thought it could be or should be. And there was just a lot happening. So I reached out for help because I had no idea what to do. Um, and my gosh, was it just amazing. It felt really good to gain new tools, new strategies, to have mindset shifts, to hear and see that for one, I wasn't alone, that there were other people in all areas of the world having similar experiences, similar kerfuffles, similar problems, things like that. So it helped kind of normalize that marriage and parenting is something that you can work on. And that there are people who have gone through some stuff and figured out some ways to make things easier. And it's just awesome that they're willing to share. So that was an amazing form of coaching that really truly changed. Gosh, well, it changed my marriage. It's changed how I look at parenting, and really, it helped me get into uncovering more of me. Um, there have been some coachings that have helped me stop being the pleaser so that I could uncover more of who am I and what are my beliefs, what are my values, and what are my passions. Um, and as a person starts to uncover those things, you start to take different actions and you start to get different results. And then so I found myself on a path where going through things where I was changing. I didn't change careers, but I was changing locations and companies, which I never thought I'd ever do. But I was following where I needed to authentically be to live my happy life. Um, I've also had coaching, some business coaching where my coach has helped me figure out kind of, okay, why are you feeling resistance right now? Like, what is that block standing in the way of where you're trying to go? And then help us uncover the block and then figure out what are some strategies or solutions we can use to solve those blocks so we can move past and get to that next step. And thankfully, I've had coaching where I have just been able to learn um, kind of how to prioritize life. Looking at my day, what are my habits? And if I'm clear on where I'm at, and if I'm clear on where I'm going in my marriage, my parenting, my career, my health, all of these areas, I can then look at everything that I'm doing in my day and see if it's lining up and helping me get there. I can save my energy, increase my energy, and kind of decrease my stress. So I would say that it's been life changing to go from someone who was really honestly on the verge of feeling like after a year of marriage, divorce could be in the picture, to following a path of asking a few different people for help and learning how to become a more grounded, authentic version of me, like who I am. And I'm uncovering more of how I want to show up as a parent, how I want to show up as a wife, and I'm taking my business in a fun direction. And I'm staying out of burnout. So I feel like I'm just a totally different person than I was when I started this journey.
Oh my goodness,
That's
that's
how I
so
got to here.
that's amazing. That's an amazing journey. And I love some of the pieces of what you shared along that way. And I love how you mentioned that you worked with different coaches, right? Like you had a relationship coach, you had a business coach, you have a life coach, and they all helped with different components and parts of your life. And they also, it sounds like, helped with helping you in different ways. So uncovering your authentic self, helping you break through resistance and blockages to moving forward, helping you identify your values and aligning your life to those values so that you can not feel burnout, and it's just the amount of happiness and joy and the energy that you present today is just amazing. So thank you for sharing that journey. I love all those parts and all the different ways that you've shifted and transformed over this time.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that you brought up the multiple. I mean, I through this journey have learned that everybody needs a toolbox. And so you're going to need more than one tool in the toolbox. And what's awesome is whatever, coaches you might feel pulled towards in the different areas of your life, they're going to each come with their own tool set. And then you pick from their tools which ones work for your life and you. And so it's really cool how after working with a couple of different coaches, you really come out with a brand new toolbox with tools kind of customized to your life and your goals. It feels really cool.
Yeah, awesome. So I want to talk a little bit more about sort of where you are now, having gone through this amazing journey of transformation. You mentioned your business. Can you maybe share a little bit about like how you got to that point through just sort of that along that journey, how you found that passion purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's what I love most is if you would have asked me, I mean, gosh, even 3 years ago, I would have not have had a clue that this was my passion. I have always been somebody who's loved to help people. I'm in the healthcare field as a W-2 regular full-time mama job. Um, so I've always wanted to help people, but I didn't know how or didn't know what to do. And as I started uncovering more of who I was and the life I wanted to live, and then started gaining the different tools that I could use to really start to become that person. One thing, like one area of my life that was kind of staying stuck was my health. I had been trying for years and years and years to, change the shape and size of my body. I was at one point very overweight, and it just made life hard. My energy was low. I couldn't keep up with my kids. I couldn't go out and do the fun things that I wanted to do, in part because it was physically tough, but also in part because there was the fear of embarrassment, the fear of being judged. So as I started working on my inner chatter in other areas of my life and started uncovering that I am worth the results that I desire, I started uncovering a new path towards lasting weight loss. And I didn't believe it as I was going through it. I was learning different tools and learning how to explore why they were important to me. Like I needed something that was lasting. I knew from other coaches who shared amazing mindset shifts with me that I'm like, that's what makes that tool stick. Somebody can hand me a tool and I can go ahead and say, sure, I'm going to implement that tool. But if I don't understand why I'm implementing it or why it's important to me specifically in my life, it's kind of easy to fall off that wagon. You kind of forget about it. You're on the wagon, you're off the wagon. And so I took that approach and I brought it to my health. And so as I was being handed tools to promote weight loss and to promote health and increasing energy, I did my own research to find out, why is this tool important for our body? Why is this tool valuable for me? How is it working with the other tools? And most importantly, how can I shift it so that I can stick with it in my life? Because I'm an unique, amazing human being, just like we all are. And so if I'm going to make this happen, I need it to work for me. So as I went through that journey of collecting my tools and that information to help me stick with it, I did end up losing 130 pounds. And I'm like, holy crap. And I was like, I know that there are so many other people out there who just feel stuck. And they feel stuck because they are trying everything. They are trying the different diets and tools and lifestyle shifts out there. They know what it kind of means and looks like to be healthy, but it's just not something that they've been able to make stick for themselves. And feeling really powerless like that, like why me? Why is it not working for me when I see it work for that person? And it worked for my friend and it worked for that health guru. And so I thought, I really, really, really want to help people. Like it really helped me in other areas to know that I wasn't alone, to normalize whatever problems I was encountering. And I'm like, there's a lot of people who don't talk about being overweight and feeling stuck and trying things and not having it work. Um, it's amazing that we really try not to body shame anymore, but that also doesn't mean that you can do the things in your life that you want to. You can be overweight and love your body and still want to change it and still feel stuck. So I've created a series of online courses that walk people through how to track things and then how to customize their tracker so that they can be handed some of those tools that, when used, can help our bodies work effectively and efficiently, while most importantly, finding the value and the importance behind each tool and how can they customize it for themselves in their lives so that they can continue on their path, finding their power and making the long lasting change in their life, shifting their body weight and size so they can do the things with their kids, with their friends, with their husbands, to just make life a little bit more enjoyable.
Oh,
So I didn't know I had that passion until I was able to do it myself. And now I'm like, everybody needs to know this.
that is amazing. That the amount of weight you lost is an amazing thing. And I love what you said about how, everybody is different and not one thing is going to work for everybody. So I love the way that you have customized your program so it's the right fit for each individual person. Because you're right, there are a lot of diet fads out there or things out there that it's like, try this one thing, but not everybody's body is the same, and so it doesn't work, and people do get frustrated and stuck and unmotivated. So I love what you've been able to create through going through that journey yourself in order to help and serve others. That's just so beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It feels
Yeah.
good. Feels awesome.
Awesome. So I want to circle back, like let's I know we've gone sort of from one spot to present, and I did want to circle back because you mentioned when you first at the beginning of your journey when you really felt stuck and you had the baby and you were just 1 year into your marriage, you said that you reached out for help. And, for a lot of people, that's hard to do, right? Is to ask for help because they don't want other people to know what's going on. They're afraid for others to know. They sort of don't want to put it out there. So I'm just curious, how were you able to take that step forward and ask for help and seek out those coaches?
Absolutely. Well, it's amazing. Prior taking it back a few years before that, I was a single mama. And so with my daughter at one point, I had found online, probably on social media, right? There was some sort of advertisement for like a parenting program. And I was like, you know what, this is an online thing. I could definitely use some insights. And that one was definitely easy to say yes to because it was basically just let me purchase, I get the information and I can try to implement. It wasn't necessarily a coach coaching me, it was just the information, which was still amazing. The reason why I share all that is through that I happened to get an email that was talking about this other coach, and she was had this video on there, and I thought, still kind of by myself. I don't have to share with people yet what's going on, but I can watch this video. And I'm so glad that I did because what it did for me is it helped me just truly see that it can be different. So first I had to actually just have the belief that somebody else had been in a situation similar to mine where they were having struggles and they came out on the other side. And seeing that, I was like, okay, I need to hear how they did it because even if there's one piece of information that they use to get to that other side is something I can use to help myself. It's just I was miserable. I was very stuck. And so to say yes to that actually became very easy because I wanted the outcome so bad.
Mm.
And it was just I couldn't go another day feeling so stuck and so suffering really. And honestly, there was a little bit too of just not wanting my marriage to fail. Like after a year, come on, I can do better than that. I was that straight A student. Give me something. Let me work on it. Um, so yeah, it's just the more I focused on the outcome, and I really felt like I wanted to try to achieve that, it became very easy to say
Mm.
yes.
Yeah, I love what you shared, and not just now, but what you've mentioned also previously is just being not being the only one, like being able to see that there are others that have gone through similar things that, we're all different people, but a lot of the human dynamics that exist, I mean, a lot of people share those things. So just knowing that not that we're all a lot of us are in the same boat with certain things, and there are solutions out there. So I love that whole part that you shared around just being able to see others' outcomes and knowing that you're not alone because we're not. And what I mentioned earlier around, how did you get there? Because it is so hard sometimes to want to even say that you've got some issue or concern that you're wanting to work through because we're so afraid of putting ourselves out there and sharing that information because of the possible shame or what might exist around certain situations and scenarios. So thank you
And I
for
love that you
saying that.
share that because when I
Hmm.
think of that, that kind of adds to it. It was almost like I had to weigh the is my fear of shame for ending a marriage after a year more than the shame I was fearing of other people knowing or trying to work on it. And honestly, I think my fear of ending a marriage early must have must have been higher because it made the fear of asking for help a whole lot less.
I love that. That. I love that balance, right? I mean, a lot of us do that in our heads, sort of like balance the pros and cons of, which is worse.
For sure.
All right. So, Ayla, this has been such a great conversation today. Is there anything else that you have burning that you'd like to offer, or anything you'd like to share with our audience before we close for today?
I guess I would just say from a, you know, perspective of somebody who's been stuck in a couple of different areas before and have been now on my own path to the other side. Um, Suffering is optional. If you're struggling with something, I would say, if you're going to take advice or guidance from someone, make sure that they are living what you want to live because they've been through it and they've been there, and it's a little bit easier when you're on the other side and you turn around and you want to help someone. It's so easy to just reach your hand out. And so there's a lot of people here who are willing to turn around and reach their hand out to help pull you even just a few steps forward so that you can kind of find your footing, get through that struggle, and move forward on your path. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, for sure. And I love what you said about suffering being optional. I think a lot of people, and not just suffering, right? Like a lot of the emotions are optional. Because one of the things, that we often think is, whatever is happening around us in our environments is what is causing our feelings and emotions. But really, it's a choice that we make within ourselves. Suffering is optional. Happiness is optional. It's something that you choose to do. So thank you so much for sharing that little piece there. Um, so thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so glad you're able to find the time to sit with me and chat, and I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for
Thank
having me.
you. Yeah. I invite you to subscribe to the Embrace Balance Discover Joy podcast and join our community. If you feel inspired by what you hear, please leave a review and share this podcast with others who might benefit. And remember, it's never too late to embrace balance and discover joy in your life. Stay tuned for our upcoming episodes filled with inspiring stories and valuable insights. Until next time, take care and be kind to yourself.